Before we get started, this video will be attacked by the irrational Chinese netizens, so please give it a thumbs up to fight back against these cyber communists. Today we are going to discuss the Sun Yang drug cheat scandal which unfolded at the World Swimming Titles in South Korea this week. But before we get into the latest drama, it is important to have a look at Sun Yang's history to get some context on why this is such a big deal currently. 17th of May 2014 at the Chinese National Championships, Sun Yang tested positive for trimetazine, a Class S performance enhancer. Consequently, Sun was stripped of his first place finish in the Chinese Nationals in 2014. This is very important to note when we look at the current controversy surrounding the former, and you could argue current, drug cheat Sun Yang. This Chinese swimmer is already officially a drug cheat. So perhaps he's just learned better ways to beat the system these days.
Yeah, definitely a win for a good guys. I don't know if it's a rivalry between me and him, just me and athletes who have tested positive, I guess.
I use the word drug cheats because he tested positive.
Now we have cleared that up, Sun Yang will forever be known as a drug cheat, and as we know from countless data on criminals who end up going to jail, this only increases the chances of criminals repeat offending. The next important piece of information from Sun Yang's positive drug test in May 2014 was that his entourage were also punished for their part in the 2014 drug scandal. This runs startling parallels with the current scandal where Sun Yang's entourage were the ones who decided to smash the blood sample after it was taken. As you can see from this footage from 2016, when there was a lot of scrutiny on Sun Yang to make sure that he was not drug cheating, Mac Horton beats Sun Yang quite easily when Sun Yang has no drugs in his system. So this adds more controversy to the fact that Sun Yang surprisingly beat Mac Horton this time in 2019. Also, this silver medal that Sun Yang received after losing to Mac Horton sent Sun Yang into a childish tantrum where he started crying and needed his mummy to come console him. This is more evidence that Sun Yang is not only a sore loser, but he would do anything to win, even cheat. Now, let's hear a little bit more from some former swimmers.
I do support them, Tom. I think, they're making a stand. They want clean sport. It's been a clean sport for a number of years, but there's been quite a few drug cheats getting through. The people that are letting these swimmers down are FINA. They should be doing something about it. They shouldn't have allowed this guy to swim because he is sort of a drug cheat. We all know that. He smashed his blood vials. He got a security man in to smash his blood vials. And, he comes up to court in September. Why didn't they stop him swimming and give the other guys that want to do a clean sport the opportunity of doing their best times and not have to swim against a drug cheat? So I support both Matt and the British swimmer. We all know that he's a drug cheat. We all know that he's swimmer under the influence of drugs. Why should he be allowed to swim against these swimmers that are clean and don't take drugs?
I believe in clean sport. To have someone flout the system so brazenly, so openly, it makes me wonder why I bother.
Yeah, I really respect Matt for what he did. As athletes, we really want to compete in a fair playground, and if you feel like that it's not being policed well enough, then it just gets really, really frustrating for the athletes, so I really commend him for coming out.
Now let's have a look at the chronology of what happened during the current scandal. Of the 3 people who arrived to test Sun at his home at 11 p.m. on September 4th, 2018, 1 had proper accreditation. The other 2 were support staff. Sun Yang had blood extracted. When filing the paperwork, he noticed anomalies. These so-called anomalies have not been released to the public, which gives me the impression they were not solid reasoning for refusing a drug test in the first place. If these anomalies were to help Sun Yang's argument, no doubt he would release it to the public as justification for his actions. But the former drug cheat, Sun Yang, has not released these so-called anomalies, which makes me believe that he was just looking for a reason not to take the drug test in the first place. Sun Yang called his coach, the head of China's swimming delegation, and a lawyer, would you believe it, all of whom advised him against signing so-called incorrect paperwork. Clearly, the former drug cheat and his entourage were looking for any reason not to be drug tested. This was subsequently the reason given for rejecting a urine test as well. At around 3 a.m., there had been a 4-hour standoff after the drug test had begun. Sung's camp, including his mother, his doctor, and a security guard from the compound where the swimmer lives, refused to let the blood vial be taken. Now, this is pretty damning. Just on the surface level, looking at that, the Chinese team decided to have the security guard smash the vial with a hammer so it could not be tested for drugs. That's pretty damning in itself. This blood sample could have been saved, and more accredited testers could have arrived to take the sample. There would have been other ways to get that sample drug tested, or have him have some more accredited testers arrive straight away and test him instantly. But there was never good enough reason to damage the evidence. Perhaps even 100 accredited drug testers would not have been enough to meet Sun Yang's lofty standards, because whatever was inside that vial he wanted to hide from testers. And now we can only speculate what Sun Yang was hiding. And most of us out here believe he was hiding drugs. I'd like to point out how Sun Yang brought the entire sport into disrepute with his childish behavior. He's the perfect example of China's next generation of spoilt brats who publicly chuck tantrums. He showed nothing but contempt for swimming, his competitors, and the audience. His behavior shows the rest of the world what type of country China really is, and since this disgraceful tantrum, the Chinese people have supported his bad behavior by attacking anyone who has even discussed Sun Yang. China has embarrassed themselves yet again on the international stage, and no doubt will continue to do so in the future. I'll see you guys in the next video.
His second gold medal of these championships. It is. Wow, goodness me, what was that? That was in the face of Duncan Scott. Is that right? Sun Yang of China, he's not shaking hands with Duncan Scott, but that was enormously aggressive. Well, look at that on the right-hand side. Duncan Scott's shaking hands with the other guys, but he's refusing to shake hands with the champion, Sun Yang. This is very, very interesting indeed. Sun Yang promoted into the gold because Rapsis twitched on the start and therefore was disqualified, having touched the wall first. Oh dear, he's now getting booed massively. Listen to this.